Yes, you guys, how you all doing? I'm EFC, this is Blue Lions TV, and today I'm bringing back the Predictor Lineup Plus preview for our upcoming game tomorrow evening at 8 PM against Watford. Now, before I continue on, my good friends at AA Sport asked me to weigh in this week's discussion, and that is Liverpool the best ever Premier League team? Now, I'm going to play you guys a small little clip. Here's what Troops had to say.
We're not like these mugs, yeah? They bottled.
Why are we mugs?
I'm gonna show you why you're mugs. You dashed off FA. You dashed off the League Cup. That invincible team, we went for every trophy. We went for the FA Cup, got to the semi-final. Went for the League Cup, got to the semi-final. Won the league unbeaten, yeah? And then we got, obviously, you mugs, Wayne Bridge, yeah? But quarter-final, we went deep into every tournament, blood. These men got kicked out of last 16 in the Champions League, yeah? Bottled League Cup. Got smack up in the FA Cup, done, and then it was just the league. Yeah, we went hard in every competition, we showed respect to every team we played. You tried to move like you're the dog's bollocks, and you ain't none.
Man, like, Troops, are you mad? Yo, honestly, like, this episode was actually so funny, so entertaining. And I can see why Troops got so mad, because Liverpool have won the league this year. They knocked out every single competition. They got battered after they won the league 4-0 against Man City 2. They've had to sacrifice every competition just to have a shot at winning this league. So for me, this does not make them the greatest of a Premier League team. I still hold our team, our title-winning 04-05 team, in very high regards. I can never imagine another team conceding less than 15 goals throughout a season in the Premier League. It's not going to happen. Anyway, you guys, you'll find a full link to the video in the description and in the card above. Make sure you see it, you guys. It's bare funny, bare entertaining. And make sure to comment in the video too. So without wasting no more time, we get straight back into the predicted lineup video. Now, Watford is going to be another London derby, and they are going to pose other difficulties. They're currently 16th in the table, they're not far off from the relegation places, and they're going to do everything in their power to get a result against us. Now, we saw against West Ham the power of teams in these positions, how they can just get that extra focus, that extra self-belief, that extra confidence, and they were ultimately things that factored in their game and helped them get that win against us not too long ago. So against Watford, we have to be prepared. We have to be focused, and hopefully our historical record against them might work in our favour. Now, every single time we've played against a Nigel Pearson team, we have got a 100% record. So this is definitely that little advantage that we do need for tomorrow's game. However, this 100% record does not automatically mean that we are winning this game easily. Since Pearson has come in, he's brought greater balance to Watford. He's brought greater competition. He's got them playing more. And his record has been decent for a club like Watford having the season they're having. In 18 games, they won 5, drawn 5, and lost 8. They haven't won a single game since the Premier League has restarted, and it's, during periods like this where I feel as Chelsea fans, we have to be diligent, we have to be prepared, and we can't take things for granted, because we've been in positions like this time and time again where we play against a much weaker team and don't get the results that we thought we deserved to get. So tomorrow, I want to see that focus, that preparation, and one way to show this is by getting that team lineup right. Now, before I delve into that, I do want to focus briefly on Lampard's press conference today. Lampard confirmed that both Mateo Kovacic and Tomori won't be taking any part in tomorrow's game. In the case of Mateo, he has picked up a small Achilles injury, so let's hope that he's not going to be out for too long. But it does look like he may be out for the following game against Crystal Palace after the game against Watford. Lampard was nominated for the Manager of the Month award after, the great spell of form we had since the Premier League has restarted. Technically, that loss against West Ham came in the following month in July, so this doesn't take away from his nomination. But it's nice to see that Lampard doesn't necessarily care too much about these personal accolades, as he was saying that he still feels like that loss against West Ham is something he still remembers and has kind of taken away that shine from being nominated. And to end with the press conference, Ziyech and Werner were mentioned again. We're currently wondering when they're going to exactly join up with the team, start working with the squad in training too, and as Lampard said, the entire club, the entire country are still following those quarantine rules. Lampard did confirm that Ziyech will join a lot quicker compared to Werner, and that's because he's going to have an extended bit of time because the season in Germany just ended not too long ago. So we're going to see Ziyech arrive first, and we're going to see Werner arrive later on. So that's going to be the press conference, and we now end with the final big part for today's video, and that's the predicted lineup for tomorrow's game. To start with things, I've gone for Tammy Abraham up front. I understand that his involvement against West Ham was minimal. However, as I keep stressing, for me, this was purely tactical. West Ham parked the bus, they closed down spaces, they outmanned us in our area, and they played with 11 men in front of their box. It's why both Tammy and Giroud didn't shine as much in that game, and most of that came down to poor servers. I'm not going to use that against Tammy. I think that against Watford, he is going to have more space to play in because Watford are a team that do like to play with the ball themselves. So that could be an advantage for him. And I think that once he gets that first goal, the confidence is really going to come back, and that's when we'll see the player back to his previous best. Down the right hand side, I have gone for Willian. Now, Willian has played a lot of games consecutively since the restart has happened, and I'm hoping that maybe he does get subbed off as the game does go on. Willian has been one of our most key players right now. So far, he's got a goal contribution of 7 in 6 games. He's been scoring like fun. He's been creating like fun. He's been clocking up the most key passes for the team as well. And he helps in the build-up phase and with how the team generally plays in the final third. He's been criminally underrated this season. The stats support that this has been a personal great season for Willian, and we're going to need his creativity against Watford tomorrow night. We now move on to another man who's in great form right now, and that's Christian Pulisic. Now, he won the penalty that actually allowed Willian to score against West Ham, and his general involvement in that game was very sharp, very assertive, and very confident. He was regularly trying to get the ball and create some havoc against West Ham, going on runs, running through the middle, and we're going to need that skill set against Watford. Now, I'm hoping that as the game goes on in the second half, Christian isn't going to complete another 90 minutes because he needs to be rested a bit. We have games coming thick and fast, but for me, just to keep that momentum going, he has to start tomorrow. He's one of the players that we have to rely upon to help us get the goals, and I feel like he can add to his goal tally and his positive contributions for our attacking plays. So Pulisic on the left hand side. We now move on to the midfield, and I'm going to be a bit ambitious. Down the left hand side, I've gone for Ruben, and I'm assuming this might be the case because now that Kovacic is injured and is out of the game, Lampard is going to have to be very economical with his midfield. Just because Ruben starts does not mean that he ends and plays the full 90 minutes, but for the sake of keeping our midfield fresh for the many difficult games that we do have coming afterwards, I think him starting in midfield could be the best way for him to get those quality minutes and to really get that confidence back on the field. Now, I thought his involvement against West Ham was pretty decent. He moved that ball quite sharp. He was trying to make positive things come, but we didn't see his trademark runs from midfield. Hopefully, against Watford tomorrow night, we are going to see that. He's started looking sharper and sharper every single time he gets minutes, and he's a player that we have to rely upon in tomorrow's game. Down the right-hand side, I've gone for Mason Mount, and I think that when Mason doesn't play, we do miss that quality and speed in our midfield. When Mason plays, he looks to move that ball very quickly. He finds people between the lines very quick. He increases the tempo exponentially, and it's no surprise that once he was involved against West Ham, that's when our best period came. That's when we brought that momentum against West Ham too. And I think that against Watford, the quicker you score goals, the quicker it allows Lampard to make the right subs in the second half to seal out the game. And naturally, to end midfield, if you do have 2 number 8s in your team, then you need to have N'Golo Kante sitting behind. Now, I can imagine that Jorginho might be involved in the game as it does go on, especially coming on as a sub, but again, if you're using 2 8s like this, you need Kante's involvement in behind. Against West Ham, this was another great performance that wasn't universally praised for some reason. I still think it's going to take quite a lot of time for people in the fan base to just get used to the idea of Kante maybe playing a bit differently, playing a bit more subdued, and doing his part for the team. I seem to remember him using his exceptional passing technique against West Ham, played a variety of different passes, and most importantly, he was covering the spaces in behind, single-handedly stopping a lot of West Ham's counter-attacks, and we're going to need this defensive ability in that game against Watford. We now move on to the back 4, and I have Reece James starting in this game tomorrow. Now, I feel like we have really missed his creativity, his crosses from those areas, and how he helps us dominate out wide. You know, recently against the teams we have been playing, Aspie has been getting a lot of space on the ball to play crosses in and do what he wants, but he's needed a high volume of passes and crosses just to be effective in that area. If you were to apply those same principles and give that to Reece, you'd imagine that Reece's quality from that same volume would be a lot better, a lot stronger, and I'm hoping that now he is fully match sharp and fit to be involved in games. I feel like when he plays, he provides a really big creative output for the team, and right now we need quality service to help our strikers to get those goals, to create that point distance against Wolves and Man United. We now move on to the centre backs, and I'm going to speak about them together. I've gone for Christensen and Zuma to play together. Now, it's an interesting one, but for me, I think that even though Rudiger is great on the ball, a great passer, I feel like maybe his defensive game in general, those defensive instincts are not as strong as Zuma's. Zuma is regularly making those last-ditch tackles this season. He's regularly winning those balls that Christensen and Rudiger just aren't winning too. And I understand that even though his passing isn't necessarily on that same caliber of a Christensen and Rudiger, who are exceptional passers of the ball, I still think that it's pretty decent, it's pretty good, and it's not like a major weakness that should dramatically affect the team. Now, I'm curious to see whether Lampard could use maybe Christensen down the left-hand side with Zuma playing down the right, but I could imagine that Zuma would play down the left with Christensen playing on the right-hand side. Personally, I love to see them swap. I think that Christensen, who's a better passer than Zuma, I like to see what he does down that left-hand side, you know? That could be great to see because Zuma on the right has been exceptional, and he's been that defensive colossus that this team has missed out on when he's not playing. And to end things with a back four, I have Azpilicueta playing as our left back. Now, Lampard tends to want to use Aspi in this way in the team, especially if Reece is playing too. In that sense, it's not like we get too much creative output from Alonso down the left-hand side, and with Azpilicueta at least, he could give that defensive platform to allow your Pulisic and your Rubens to push forward a bit more. So I think it would be great for the team again. Aspi is just the definition of solid. He's always going to be a solid player for us, so let's see what he does in tomorrow's game. And to end things with the first team, I have gone for Caballero in goal. Now, I can imagine that Lampard won't be turning to Kepa anytime soon. You feel that he doesn't do enough to really keep us in games or pull anything outlandish or ridiculous off to save us in games. Now, I saw Courtois do that. I saw Petr Cech do that time and time again. I'm not getting those same vibes from Kepa, and it seems like Lampard hasn't rated him for a very long time. Caballero has always been reliable every time Lampard has used him, and maybe, you know, especially with the season Kepa's had, maybe Caballero's deserved to get more minutes this season. I think his distribution's good, at least he's reliable too, and at least he is more assertive and more confident. He has to start against Watford tomorrow, and there you guys is my first 11 for that game tomorrow evening. As you can see on the sub bench, I'm expecting to see and hoping to see your Hudson-Odois, your Jorginhos, and hopefully if the game does go in our favour, if we do have a sizable lead over Watford, hopefully we could even see some young players getting some minutes off the bench as well. I'm really hoping that Callum does get some minutes of some kind in tomorrow's game. Right now, for the way this season's ending, we need to have all our attacking players in their best form right now, so hopefully Callum can add to the cause. And yeah, you guys, is my lineup. I hope you guys enjoyed. In the comment section below, give me your thoughts and opinions. Give me your lineups. That's always very interesting to see. You guys have some great insight. And on that note, I'm going to wrap things up and keep things moving. I'm Nini FC. This is Blue Lions TV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos.